okay? Because that encourages you to use your tall posture muscles to sit comfortably tall in your chair, okay? So let's first feel our feet into the floor. Ooh, that's 3S. Feel your feet into the floor. I kind of like that. And I'm having my toes point towards 12 o'clock. They're a little bit wider today. They're more apart than they are together. You do the comfortable thing for you. Don't lock the knees though. And again, press firmly into the floor. So you might feel contraction of the front of the legs, the quadriceps, maybe a little bit of the side behind muscles, maybe the behind, maybe the hamstrings, definitely maybe the feet if you have bare feet today. But it kind of stimulates all those acupressure points in the bottoms of the feet when you press firmly into the floor. So we kind of get out of our busy mind and into our bodies when we press our feet into the floor, whether you're seated, whether you're standing. And let's just place our hand below the belly button and then one hand above that and kind of wiggle those shoulders a little bit. That's a little lymphatic drainage, by the way. And then relax, roll those shoulders back and down, kind of shake a little bit. So let's breathe in. As we breathe in, we expand the belly outwards as if we're expanding a balloon. And then as we exhale, we just kind of naturally let the belly fall back to its natural place. So let's do this. Again, don't lock those knees wherever you are. Let's breathe in, belly out. And then exhale, belly button softly towards your spine. Relax those shoulders now. Okay, let's do that again. Breathe in, belly out. And my chest also expands when I do this. And again, exhale, belly button towards your spine. Once again, breathe in, belly out. And exhale. Very good. We'll first start with what's called a shaking Qigong. We do this in Tai Chi or Tai Chi ball class, but we're going to try to use some of those elements in our warm-up today. So basically, seated, standing, you're going to shake. So you're going to get a little bit more into lubricating those knees when you are standing, but you can kind of do heels up and down when you're seated, okay? So that's an alternate thing to do if you're seated. And if you have arms on the side of your chair, just be mindful of that. You don't want to be like hitting your arms on the side arms, okay? So again, be mindful of your chair if it has arms on the side, all right? Now, let's bring it towards the sky. Again, do what you can with what you got today. So this is part of also getting those lymphatic fluids moving in our body. Bouncing the knees, arms in the air, and then turn it to the side, shake, 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 and then turn it to the front, and then over to the other side, and back to the front. This is part of the 8 brocades in traditional Tai Chi. Let's go back again, over to one side, bend those knees, shake the body, back to the center, and over to the other side. Now let's bring those arms out into a letter T, arm flapping, yeah? You're still bending the knees, and then let's turn the wrists, palms up. This is good for carpal tunnel, loosening those wrists. Very good. Now we're keeping the bouncing or alternating up and down if you're seated on the chair, and let's spin those wrists. Breathing in and out. So you may notice as you're like coming down in the bounce, you may be exhaling a little forcefully. That's kind of a cool thing. Makes a little noise. Now let's reverse. Go the other way. Very good. Now my left hand doesn't spin as well in this direction when we reverse the direction. That's one of the things I've noticed. Notice if you notice that too. Is it your entire arm? Or is it just isolated in your wrist? Try to do just the wrist if you can. Yeah? All right. So from here, let's swing the arms. And so we kind of bend the knees when we're standing. You just kind of swing the arms if you're seated. Cup those hands front and back. Let's add a shoulder tap on this next one. Very good. Very good, very good. Next, I'm going to step a little forward. I don't want to hit the chairs. So it's going to be forward, to the side, and out with a little bounce. And again, you're not bouncing if you're seated on the chair. You're just trying to figure out, can I do this without hitting the back of the chair? Yeah? Sit near the edge of the chair. That helps. Kind of lubricates the shoulder joints, the neck, the spine. Let's do front and back. Get a nice, generous knee bend if you can. Let me step back a little bit. I don't want to hit the wall though. Of course I would hit the wall, yeah? Again, if it's spicy, you're doing a lot less range of motion. Maybe you're backing off a little bit too, okay? And then make it smaller, smaller, and smaller. From here, I'm bringing my feet in just a little bit, interlacing the fingers, pressing the interlaced fingers towards the sky. So this is 1, 2, bend the knees, bring it low, feet, knees wide if you're doing this seated on the chair. 3, 4, make fists, place them on your hips, standing, seated, back bend. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I counted wrong. Let's do it again. Pulse up for 2. 1, 2, bend the knees, bring it low. 3, 4, fists on the hips. 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's do that again since I counted it correctly. 1, 2, towards the sky, bring it low. 3, 4, fists on the hips. 5, 6, 7, and 8. From here, you'll be doing what's called a step touch. So you step to the side, you touch the foot, step to the side. You can kind of do this also seated in the chair, but I want you to wave your arms back and forth here. So this is a little bit of coordinated movement. You can hang on to the chair and do this also, fingertip on the chair. You're thinking, ooh, I don't know about that. You're doing a standing, okay? Wave arms, breathe in, breathe out. Let's do 2 more. 2 and 1. Yes, I count differently. All right, from here, let's cup the hands. Now, we kind of cup the hands when we swung the arms, so we're going to be doing spinal cord breathing. So we're cupping our hands in front of us, and let's inhale, elbows up, chest out towards the sky. And then exhale, bend the knees, curve the spine to the back of the chair, the back of the room. If you can, maybe chin towards the chest a little bit. And then from here, inhale, elbows up, 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 up. And then exhale, curve the spine, belly button tight. Kind of like cat-cow again. Breathe in, elbows up, spinal cord breathing. Exhale. Turn to the side this time. You pick a side. Inhale, elbows up. Woo! Exhale, back to the center. Let's do the other side. Here we go. Inhale, elbows up, up, up. Ooh, there's the thunder. Exhale, back to the center. Let's do one more, side to side. Here we go. Inhale, elbows up. Beautiful. Exhale, back to the center. Curve, curve, curve. Do what you can with what you got. Again, inhale, elbows up, 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 up. And back to the center. One more into the center. First we curve, and then inhale, elbows up. You know what? Bring those arms out and bring that back down to the side. Very good. Kind of shoulders up and down here. So from here, part of our Qigong detox method and our warm-up is to do the big 6. It's called the lymphatic big 6. So I have my feet a little bit wider, knees a little bit bent. And I'll find my collarbone, and I'm going to take my Spock hands or my hands and rub above and below the collarbone. So stroke across. So it's not digging, it's just kind of a stroking across. Or you can tap across. Now I've got my pacemaker on this side, so I'm always like, go above the pacemaker. I don't want to be tapping my pacemaker, okay? I have a pacemaker in there because I have a super low heart rate. And there's pauses in between the heart rates, and they are like, okay, we want the heart to beat. So if it gets below 45 beats per minute, then it kicks in and gives a little heart stimulation. It hasn't done that, though, since I got my new pacemaker. So I'm thinking, I'm better. I don't know. All right, let's do the other side. I move my hair out of the way, stroke across. So some folks do this in the shower with the water and maybe some soap. It's recommended that you do skin to skin or cloth to skin, not in the shower, not with lotion, because you're not going to get that traction feeling, the stimulation of opening up, clearing the muck from those lymph nodes. All right, now let's take it here in front and in back of the ear. So again, those little Spock hands. So you go in front and back of the ear, so you go down the side of the neck, and then you can go down the side of the jawline, so you can kind of alternate that. So you know when you go to the doctor when you're sick, they always go poking around your neck to see if you have any swollen lymph glands. the swollen lymph nodes is what they are. You can also take the hand back here, kind of at the base of the skull when you're doing this, to stimulate those lymph node nests also. Let's switch sides. So again, in front and in back of the ear. I normally go down the jawline first, but that's just me. That's a weird thing, right? And then down the side of the neck 2 or 3 times. And then I try to get the hand way back there, back behind my head. Back behind my head. Okay, that didn't make sense, but y'all know what I'm talking about, I hope. All right, very good. So next is the armpit, the pectorals. So you kind of make a right angle with your hand, and you can just kind of press into the armpit, and you got that thumb in front, so you can kind of squeeze. So we have a lot of lymph node nests here. Men and women who get breast cancer, they always like test the auxiliary lymph nodes, and guess where it is? Right in this area. You can also tap, make a soft fist, pat, or punch into the armpit. But I like to do the whole hand so I get the stuff in the front too, the pectorals. Now I've had heart surgery where they went in through the side ribs, so I have scars on that side. So I also like to tap my scars to kind of break up anything that's kind of stagnant there, so I can have lymphatic flow through that scar tissue area. Let's do the other side. So here we go. You can make a nice little sound. Maybe you want to make a nice little sound. If you want to do a deodorant check, this is the time to do it. Maybe not on camera like I just did. Good thing you can't smell me. Okay, I'm going to take it down because, again, I'm trying to get some of that scar tissue kind of broken up too. So they went in through both sides of my ribs to do that heart surgery to get rid of AFib. If you want to know more, talk to me online about that. So no AFib now, going on 2 years. I'm very excited. All right, next place is you kind of find where, and I got to poke to find this. You find where the ribs are. Usually your diaphragm is like stuck up in underneath your ribs. So you kind of stroke the underneath part. Now, don't lock those knees if you're standing, okay? I don't want any locked knees fall into the floor. That's not what this class is about. We're not wanting to fall. We're wanting to prevent falls. All right, and then you can just be very percussive, very much drum-like. You can slap your midline, or you can pound on it with your fists, or I like the sides of the hands where you can kind of chop. Now you try to do the whole section of that front abdominal cavity, okay? We'll make a little, it sounds different on one side versus the other. More fat on this side than on the who knows? All right, next you got to step those knees out and maybe point toes towards the corners of the room, maybe bend the knees a little bit. And where the leg enters into the torso, that's called the qua. We turn from the qua in Tai Chi, and we do that in yoga too, but we're going to take the sides of the hands and chop the qua. So this is the area where they check for cancer that has escaped from the prostate, if you have prostate cancer. So let's get rid of that muck, okay? We're flushing our body little toilet systems by stimulating these lymph nests in the body. Some folks like to sit down and do this, so that's perfectly fine too. Chop, 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 chop. Now you may want to sit down on this next one. It's going to be the back of the knees, but if you want to do it standing, you can do that too. So if you're going to do it standing, bend the knees, and you know what? First, let's clap the hands. Let's create some heat on the hands, and we're going to rub on top of the kneecaps. A little bit of heat here. Be sweet, be kind. We're not doing a lot of pressure here. And then reverse. To lessen knee pain, we take the palms of the hands and softly tap, tap, tap. And then you can take the hand and gently stroke the back of the knees. Again, if you have swelling in the ankles and the feet, back of the knees is your roadblock because it goes from big veins, all that kind of stuff, to little tiny things. So you can also softly tap. Now I like the hand because I'm also stimulating the side of the knee where I'm trying to lessen the pain. So that's kind of cool. Bottom of the hamstrings, top of the calves. Very good. Bounce those knees a little bit. Up and down if you're seated. And then let's just go ahead and march in place. A little cardio here, just a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, 131. Wow. Okay. All that activity we did, my heart rate went up to 131. Yeah, I work out a lot. So who knew this little bit of movement could get that heart rate up? So I hope that's a good thing for y'all. Now from here, you can either have hands on the hips, hand on the chair, seated on the chair. You can have your foot on the floor or raise the knee up for ankle circles. So we're trying to isolate the ankle, strengthen the ankle because that helps us to have less falls. We're going to draw the circle inward first for your ankle circles. And my feet are going snap, crackle, pop. Very good. And it may be slower than mine. Just know that, okay? Now, reverse. Now, my reverse always feels kind of jerky on this foot. I've had surgery on this foot. So I have lots of balance challenges because I've had surgery on the one foot, and then I've had like a 3rd-degree sprain on the other. So my balance is shot to the wall. That's why I do this stuff. All right, now we got to do the other one. So again, you can be on the ball of the foot doing the ankle circles, but I like to lift it off the ground sometimes. Draw them inward. Ooh, that one's stiff. Oh, did your ankle pop like mine did? Mine went, made that big old sound. If I was quiet, you probably could hear it, but I'm not going to let you hear it. All right, now let's go the other way. I always have to think other way. Okay, my brain's like struggling here a little bit. So I love this because we use both sides of the brain for that dementia prevention. So yay, that's my hope at least. And you know what? Go back to the first one, okay? Let's point and flex. This is a part of the sciatica soothing. When you point and flex nice and slow, flossing that nerve. We did a little sciatica and piriformis kind of concentration on our back yoga class last Wednesday. So that's up on the YouTube if you want to kind of check that one out. Again, it can be done seated on the chair or on the floor or on the bed or on the couch. Let's do the other one. Let's point and flex. Again, strengthening ankle mobility, noticing one side versus the other. Does it feel different? Typically, maybe it does. Ooh. So these movements are designed to promote relaxation, flexibility, and overall well-being, this warm-up sequence. Also to work the major muscle groups and through the joints. All right, feet a little wide. And again, just shake the legs. Shake the arms too. However you can shake them sitting on the chair. However you can shake them standing here on the floor. Get a little air shake there. All right. Great. So we're going to do an assessment next. So you decide if you want to stand or if you're going to try to do the assessment seated. It's going to be interesting to see what happens here. So part of the assessment of what we're going to do is called Golden Rooster. It's a Tai Chi balance movement, but it gets into those hip flexors and you kind of understand, where's my balance at this moment? Okay. So we're going to turn towards the corner of one of our chairs. Now again, you don't have to have 2 chairs. But having one is very beneficial. We're going to bend both knees and kind of tuck the tailbone under. So you kind of like booty flared out, booty tucked in. Does that make sense? I hope so. And then the leg that's on the outside of the chair, you're going to come up on the ball of the foot. Now, contract your abdominals. Raise your elbow up, bent elbow, and then lift, maybe, the foot off the ground. Point your toe down. Now, understand what's going on here with that hip. Do you feel fatigued? Is it giving you a little challenge? Do you need to have it lower? It's okay. You're just doing an assessment. Now, maybe you can release the hand. Maybe not. In my case, I'm like swaying side to side. The room is moving. No, it's me. And release. Woo! Now, kind of do a little march in place, kind of like, was there some stuff going on with that side? Now, you can walk over to the other side of the chair or walk over to the other chair if you have 2 chairs, okay? Again, pointing the toes towards the corner, bending the knees. Now my booty's flared out. Now I'm going to tuck it under. Okay, well, I don't know if you saw that, but that's what we do. And bend the elbow. And then contract the low belly, mid belly. Lift that other leg up. Oof. Point the toe down. Now notice, does it feel, you try to go to the same height. And then notice what you notice. Man, I'm just wiggling like a leaf in a hurricane right now. I'm just like, okay. Woo! And then lower. Wow. Kind of walk a little bit. Let's go back. Let's do that golden rooster again. Nice tall posture. Bend both knees. Maybe your hands go on your behind, you're flared your behind out, and then tuck it under. So that's, out and then tuck under. So that's the sensation, okay? Bent elbow, bend that knee. Again, toe may be close to the floor, or maybe you can have the knee up. You're going to notice, okay, this side, how does this feel? Is it wiggly? Is it wiggly much? Do I have a sensation challenge? I do. And release. Woo! Kind of walk in place there to release that tension that was built up. Let's go over to the other side. Here we go. Bend the knees. Flare your tailbone. Tuck it under. I'll just do that for you all to understand tucking in, okay? Bend that elbow. Lift that leg. Oof. And again, notice your sensation that's going on here. Notice if you're wiggling more, if it feels more or less compared to the other side. Mine's more wiggly. Ooh, mine's more tired on this side. It's interesting. And release. Okay, so that's your assessment. Were you wiggly? If you were, one side versus the other, which one felt more strong than the other? And then let's do some of our strengthening moves